What's up, everybody? It's your girl Naturallytash, and welcome back to my channel. I want to talk about hair color discrimination, and I know some of you guys are saying, really, is hair color discrimination even a thing? Me personally, I have been a pre-K teacher for about 11-12 years, and in the beginning of my career, you know, I wasn't natural. I had what you would call normal hair color, so I never had that to be an issue. When I lived in Georgia and I first went natural, my hair was like a dark brown and it almost looked black. And when I first started getting into, you know, using hair shadow, and I would just put it on the ends of my hair, my job didn't really, you know, care about that because my hair basically looked black, but sometimes it would have blue ends, sometimes it would have gold ends, depending upon the hair shadow I was using. So that wasn't a big deal. They never had anything to say about that. As long as I came to work and did what was expected of me, that wasn't a big deal. When I moved to Houston, by that time, I was more doing the deep conditioning colors, meaning changing my hair color all over and then doing hair shadowing at the end. So my hair was somewhat brighter and the colors were way more noticeable. I was lucky enough to come upon a job that didn't care at all about that. They didn't care about my tattoos. They didn't care about my hair colors. They just cared about what it was I did for the kids. My parents loved it. The kids loved it. I used it as a teaching tool. We would make predictions. And over time, though, with that job, they had to change the ownership, change in management and everything. And some things went down with that job that I wasn't too cool with. So I left that job. I quit. And then I had to look for another job, of course. Okay, so at the time that I was looking for a new job, my hair was almost exactly the way it is now. And it was like a pale pink. My hair is this color. When I pull out all of the previous colors, this is the lightest it will get. I put the vitamin C and dandruff shampoo in my hair. I did it 3 times, and each time it pulled out more hair color. But once it gets to this color, it doesn't get any lighter than this. So I guess that underneath all the colors that I do have, this is the color it is. So this was my hair color as I was looking for another job. One particular school I had an interview with. The interview went really, really good. They basically were straight up with me. They said, you have all the qualifications. You would be a perfect fit for this job. However, your hair colors and your tattoo doesn't fit into our policy, so we couldn't hire you. I was cool with that, you know. The only thing that kind of upset me was how close it was to the house, and it would have been real convenient for me to work there, but I can't do nothing but respect them. At least they told me straight up, you know, that we couldn't hire you because of your hair colors or whatever, so I moved on. Had an interview at another job, and I interviewed with the manager. The manager, you know, she didn't really say anything about my hair. She asked me questions about, and my hair was the color it is now. She asked me questions about the job description and working with kids and everything, and she was fine. Then I had to actually talk to the owner. When I talked to the owner, I could tell that she wanted to ask me about my hair, so I just kind of told her, you know, I told her about Naturallytash and what I do on YouTube and Instagram and what so have you, and that this was like my quote-unquote side business, and I let her know what was up. I asked her if it would be a problem. She told me straight up, no, it wouldn't be a problem, as long as I was doing what I had to do for the job, that my hair wasn't a big deal. So when I was offered the position, I took it. My hair, like I said, was pink at the time. I had been working for them for like 3 weeks, and then I was called up to the front. The owner straight up asked me, she was like, well, how long is your hair going to be pink? And I was totally thrown off by that question. I really didn't understand, because I'm like, if you had such a problem with my hair color being pink, then I kind of wish you would have never hired me. It just so happened that around that time that she asked me that on a Tuesday, that weekend I had already planned on changing my hair color to like a golden, I don't want to say blonde, but like a goldish, yellowish looking color. And so I told her that, and she was like, oh, okay, and she really didn't have anything else to say about it. When I got home, I talked to my husband about it, and I was like, you know, I had already decided on changing my hair color, but I felt some type of way, because I felt like if I change my hair color now after she said something, she's going to feel like she can dictate when and where I can change my hair color. And if she feels some type of way about the color that my hair is, that she can say something and then I'm just going to automatically change it. Even though that's not what it was. When she said to me how long was my hair going to be pink, and I told her that I was going to change it that weekend, number one, she never asked me what color I was changing it to. It could have been worse than that. It could have been like green or blue. But I was already changing my hair, so I didn't really look at it as a big deal, you know. So I changed my hair color to the golden yellowish color, and when I got back to work on Monday, she actually complimented me on my hair. She told me she liked my hair color, whatever, and I had no more problems. I would say about 2-3 weeks after that, I changed my hair color to like a dark maroon color, which almost looked like a dark purplish, pinkish type color. And when I changed my hair color that color, the owner told me she liked it as well, so it wasn't a big deal. At this point, I've been working there maybe almost 3 months, and after the maroon color, I started letting it fade out, and when it started fading out, it faded out to like a pale lavender, and I was just kind of going with it. I was letting the color fade out until I figured out what color I wanted to do next. So one particular day, I was at work, and it was time for me to go on my break, and they would keep all of our stuff up in the front, like our keys and our cell phone and stuff locked up in the front. So I was up in the front getting my stuff before I went on break, and the owner says to me, she's like, oh my goodness. And I look at her because she's seeming to have such a problem with something. I wasn't even thinking it was directed towards me. And I just look at her and I'm like wondering to myself, like, what the hell is wrong with you? And she's like, oh, Natasha, you know, how long you gonna have this lavender hair? And I was like, I don't know, you know, I do plan on changing my hair color, but right now I'm letting this fade out. And she's like, well, it's just too much of a distraction, which I didn't understand, because I don't understand how my hair can be a distraction. If I'm coming into work every day and I'm doing my job every day, what is the big deal? So I'm wondering, like, you know, what is up? So then I'm like, well, you know, before you hired me, I told you that this is what I did. I told you this was my side business. You seem to have absolutely no problem with it. And now you seem to be having a problem. So she comes back at me like, oh, well, I'm trying to run a business here, and this hair color is not good for my business. And you making the other girls think that it's okay to have these hair colors and blah, blah, blah. At this point, I'm pissed off because I'm like, you know, this don't make no damn sense to me, because if you really felt some type of way about my hair colors, then you shouldn't have hired me. So all of that transpired on a Friday. Mind you, now I refuse to change my hair color because of her attitude and because of the way she came at me, and because if she really felt some type of way, she shouldn't have hired me. But I kind of blamed it a little bit on myself, because the first time she came at me sideways about my hair, I changed it that weekend. So I guess she thought if she came at me sideways again, I would just change my hair because she said something. But at this point, I was totally frustrated, and I was like, I am not changing my hair color, because if she really felt some type of way, then she shouldn't have hired me. Okay, like I said, this was on a Friday. Fast forward to that Monday, I get to work. The owner's not there. The manager calls me in the office, and they're like, oh, you know, we want to move you to another classroom. You know, the kids are older. We feel like you have more experience with older kids, so you'll do good with them, blah, blah, blah. The teacher is excited to have you in there and all this. So I'm like, okay, you know, that's cool. I'll move to the next classroom. Now, mind you, the other class that I was working in, I came in at 8 o'clock. And I worked till 6:30. I had a 2-hour break, which I totally hated. But at the time, you know, it was a job, so whatever. So with them moving me to the next classroom, I would go from coming in at 8 o'clock to coming into work at 1 o'clock. So now I felt like they was cutting my hours. Well, the owner was cutting my hours because she felt some type of way about my hair. So I'm thinking to myself, you know, no way am I going to do this? Like, you're not going to play me like this. Just like I found that job, I can find another job, and it's not even a big deal. So with all that being said, I quit. I didn't need that job like that. It was no thing for me to find another job. I found another job, and then I called up there, and I was like, look, you know, I basically quit. And I was talking to the manager, and the manager was like, oh, you know, we're sorry to see you go. Are you sure you can't put your 2 weeks in? And I was not staying there another 2 weeks. So I made it clear. I was like, well, no, I'm not staying another 2 weeks because my other job is starting, and I don't think that your owner will want me in there for another 2 weeks with my hair being this color. So then the manager was like, oh, yeah, I heard about that, and I think that's kind of messed up, blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't trying to hear any of that. So I left that job, more or less. And about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days later, the owner had the nerve to call me. She left a message on my machine. Oh, Tasha, you know, I was so sorry to see you go. I really would like for you to call me back and we could talk about your job. Now, I I never called her back because there wasn't nothing she could say to get me back. I feel like the whole thing transpired was just messed up, and there was absolutely nothing she could say to bring me back. Even if she would have said to me, oh, Tasha, you know, I'm not going to sweat you about your hair colors. You could just come back and work, blah, blah, blah. At that point, it was ruined. Like, how I know I'm not going to come back and then you're not going to wake up one day and say, oh, I don't like your hair this red, so when you going to change your hair color? So I never called her back to see what she had to say. My husband was like, you should just call her back and see what she has to say. But to me, it didn't really matter what she had to say, because anything she would have had to say would have never brought me back there. So the bottom line is, she really had a problem with my hair colors, but instead of just not hiring me, she thought that she could hire me and then bully me into changing my hair colors to keep the job. And that was never going to happen. I understand that everybody's not going to like these hair colors or think they're appropriate for their business and all that, but all I ask is that you tell somebody that straight up. You can't hire somebody and then change them, especially if the money's funny. It either goes one way or the other. Some schools don't care at all. I had an interview with a school, and they basically were hiring me on the spot, and I asked them, you know, I was like, well, is my hair color going to be a problem? And they looked at me like I was totally crazy, and the lady was like, no, that's not a problem at all, you know. We're more concerned with what you're going to do for the kids as opposed to the color of your hair. And then you have some jobs that just think, oh, you know, your hair colors is very inappropriate, even though I feel like this pale pink color is somewhat muted. I mean, I could come in with a really, really bright red, and red is somewhat considered a normal color, and that would be more noticeable and brighter than this. But some schools just don't want to hear it, and I respect a school more if they tell me straight up, okay, well, no, you know, we can't hire you because of your hair colors or your tattoos. Okay, so now I want to tell you about another form of hair discrimination I kind of went through. There was a guy who approached me on Instagram. He was sending me messages back and forth talking about he wanted to be like my manager slash agent and help me get sponsorships and things like that. And initially, I didn't really feel like I needed him because I've been doing fine on my own. But then I was thinking, you know, maybe having somebody talking up for me could get me more money for my sponsorships and get me, you know, bigger sponsorships or whatever. So I was actually looking into using him. And we was emailing and DMing back and forth, and then he made the comment, he was like, well, I know that your platform is basically, you know, having colored curls, but if you really want to get these big sponsorships, then you would need to either change your hair color to black, blonde, or some kind of brown. And I was thinking to myself, like, what? Why? You know, that would be changing who I am. How am I going to be like the queen of temporary hair colors if my hair color is only black, brown, or blonde? And what he said to me was, a lot of the girls that look like you or light skin like you or have your type of curl pattern and your type of curls or texture hair either have black, blonde, or some kind of brown hair, and they get the big sponsorships. And if you want to get those big sponsorships and kind of like compete with those girls, then you need to change your hair colors to something more normal. Well, I just thought that was crazy. That would be like just changing everything about me. Like, my whole platform basically is the changing of colors and the washing out of colors and hair shadow and deep conditioning color. And if you take all that away and just make me have black hair or blonde hair or brownish color hair, then I'm not really being authentic to me. And he was more or less saying, you know, you just get these sponsorships and play that role, and then once you get in there good enough, then you can change your hair colors back to this. Well, basically what you're telling me is, don't be myself, be who they want you to be to get that money, and then once you get that money, you go back to being yourself. Well, I really don't want to change who I am, and I don't want to fit in with a certain mold of what a natural hair girl like me looks like. And this is no shade on any of the light-skinned 3BA girls who have blonde or black or brown hair. That's your thing. Hey, do your thing. But that's not me. If I did go to a brown hair color, I want to do it because I wanted to do it, not because somebody else felt like that would be the best thing for me to do to get, you know, further in the game. I don't want to do that. I just basically told him he could kiss my ass, to be honest, because I'm not going to change who I am. I would like more sponsorships and to go to hair shows and to do all that, but I want to go as me, not as somebody they want me to be. So this guy basically told me I was wasting his time. He got pissed off and even had the nerve to tell me that I would never get nowhere within the natural hair industry or the curly girl industry or whatever because I don't fit the right mold. And you know, it's funny to hear that, especially coming from a guy, because I don't want to fit into a mold. Why do you have to fit into a box? You know, I want to be who I am, and I like changing my hair colors. We kind of ended things on a bad note. He basically told me I wasted his time and got all this influential information from him, and I didn't even use it. But I felt like I've gotten this far without him. So any further I get without him is not going to make me any different. This is just what it is, you know. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you've ever felt this way. If you have bright hair colors, let me know if you faced any discrimination with jobs or with people or anything like that. Let me know. And if it's your first time watching my video, please like and subscribe. I would really, really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great day. Peace and blessings.